true crime, horror, dark, deep, and mysterious. What the is going on type of stories number 3. Day in the neighborhood. My brothers and sisters, do y'all remember or have you ever heard of the movie franchise Final Destination?
I got this feeling. It's a weird feeling.
The cabin starts to shake, right? And the left side blows up, and then the whole plane just explodes. The plane's gonna explode! It's not a joke! It's not a joke!
We get thrown off the plane all because Brownie has a bad dream?
I saw it.
The plane! It's gonna blow up! It's gonna blow up!
Because of you, I'm still alive.
In death, there are no accidents. No coincidences. And no escapes.
It's basically about people who avoided situations that would have led to their death to only shortly thereafter be in a situation that will actually lead to their death. And today, I have 3 Final Destination real life stories for y'all. But before we get into today's stories, y'all gotta do one thing for me. Get whatever you may need. This is 3 times that Final Destination happened in real life. Y'all got what y'all need? Y'all ready to go? Then let's go. On July 6, 2013, Asiana Flight 214 will head to the sky, departing from Seoul, South Korea, with its destination being San Francisco, California. 307 people were aboard this plane, and that's where we would meet 16-year-old Ye Min-young. This was a 10-hour flight, and by all accounts, their time in the air, besides a little turbulence here and there, was pretty much picture perfect. However, Flight 214's landing would end up disastrous and deadly. Because as the plane was landing at its destination in San Francisco, it was flying too low and hit the sea wall. Now when the airplane hit the sea wall, it kind of made it jump onto the runway, spinning in the air, with huge pieces of the aircraft being flung everywhere. Once the plane finally came to a stop on the runway, there would be a gigantic cloud of smoke. And once the smoke cleared, a gruesome scene will unfold. Here is a video of the actual crash. A few minutes later, first responders would arrive on the scene and find Ye Min-young outside of the plane, a couple of feet away, laying in the grass in the fetal position. The firefighter that was in the passenger seat actually got out to direct the driver around Ye Min-young's body. A few minutes later, another fire truck, Unit 10, would start to spray foam on the ground because there was a leakage from the left fuel tank that could have ended in a fiery explosion. This foam would cover Ye Min-young's body completely, but even after all this, she was still alive. That's until Fire Truck Unit 10 would start to drive up closer to the plane, either ignoring her body completely or forgetting about it, and roll straight over her head, killing her instantly. Out of the 307 people who was on board Asiana Flight 214, amazingly, 305 of them had survived. Sadly, Ye Min-young's survival would end less than an hour after the crash.
Some firefighters saw the 16-year-old Ye Meng-wan near the wreckage, but assumed she was dead. The coroner says Ye actually survived the crash, but was killed by a fire truck that accidentally ran her over.
Getting a search it. Just rescue 2's going in to rear the plane for
In January of 2013, Jessica Roll was a student at Federal University in Santa Maria, South Brazil. During that month of January, she was helping organize a party for all students that was attending Federal University at a local nightclub called Kiss. Now, Jessica was real excited about this party. She was walking around campus every day, telling everybody about it, and even selling tickets to people who actually wanted to attend. January 13, 2013 was the night that this party was taking place. And before the party, Jessica was at her house, getting all dressed up, and she was very excited to go have a great time at Kiss nightclub. As she was literally walking out the door to head to the party, she would get a phone call from her boyfriend, Adriano Stefano. Adriano would tell Jessica on the phone that he just having a bad vibe about this whole situation. He don't feel right about her going to this party, and he begged her to stay home. After hearing the real concerns and panic in Adriano's voice, Jessica would decide to stay home. Just a few hours later, like Adriano had predicted, tragedy would strike at Kiss nightclub. Because while a band was on stage performing, they would set off pyrotechnics that would hit the roof and start a blaze of fire. This fire and smoke would quickly engulf the whole club, sending all the partygoers rushing to the exit. Now this exit only had one door, and the security guards who were standing at this exit, they had no idea about the fire that was going on inside Kiss nightclub. So when they seen this whole crowd of people running towards them, they was interfering, stopping them from leaving, because they was thinking some of these people had unpaid bills from the bar. All of this confusion and chaos at the exit door would cause a huge pileup, and a lot of people would start to meet their demise either from smoke inhalation or being trampled on. Now there were some survivors, but in the end, 238 people would die this night at Kiss nightclub. The next morning, when Jessica had woken up and found out about the deadly event that had happened at the nightclub, she was so grateful and so thankful that she had listened to her boyfriend when he told her that she shouldn't go. She was later quoted as calling Adriano her guardian angel. Fast forward 4 days later, when Jessica would leave Santa Maria to head to the neighboring town of Toledo to go pick up Adriano from work. 2 days later, the couple would leave Toledo to head back to Santa Maria. But on their way back, Jessica's Volkswagen Golf would have a head-on collision with a truck. Jessica would die instantly upon impact, and her boyfriend Adriano would die just a few hours later at the hospital. Jessica had avoided death on a Sunday night just to meet it head-on the next Saturday morning. In 2012, Jessica Redfield was an aspiring sportscaster in Denver, Colorado. Just a month before, in June of 2012, Jessica was at Eaton Center Shopping Mall in Toronto, Canada, when she decided to go to the food court to get a bite to eat. When she entered the food court, she would immediately start to get this strange feeling, a very paranoia type feeling. So she decided to go outside to get a breath of fresh air. Just a few moments later, after Jessica had left the food court, a man by the name of Christopher Husbands would start shooting inside the food court, killing 2 people and injuring several others. Later in one of her blogs, Jessica would tell about how she had this weird and odd feeling in the food court, and how this odd feeling possibly saved her from getting killed that day. On July 20th, 2012, Jessica was back in Denver shortly after midnight at Century 16 movie theater, enjoying a screening of The Dark Knight Rises with a friend. About 30 minutes into the movie, a man by the name of James Holmes would leave out of the theater through an emergency exit. A few minutes later, he would return back to the movies through that same exit, but this time he had on full tactical gear and had weapons ranging from tear gas to an assault rifle. Holmes would release the tear gas and start randomly shooting at people who just came to enjoy a night out at the movies.
First clear sign of it was when the guy that was sitting right next to me actually got shot in the chest.
And all the bullet casings kept falling on my forehead. They were like singeing my forehead.
At that moment, I just remember thinking, I'm not gonna die in here. Me and my kids, we are not going to die in here. I need to get them out.
At that point, he takes his gun and he walks a little further, takes a couple steps, and he points it at me. At that point, he has a rifle in my face.
There was a moment where my daughter tripped and I just pulled her up and I was just dragging her and I was just thinking, we just gotta get out. I just gotta get out the doors, and even if I just fall dead, just get my kids out of here. It was just so horrible.
16, I got 7 down in the feeder 9. 7 down.
Over 70 people would be injured, and sadly, 12 of them would die. One of the victims being Jessica Redfield. She was shot 6 times. Just a month after avoiding being the victim of a mass shooting, Jessica would die being the victim of a mass shooting. Here are 3 tweets she had tweeted just a little while before she headed to Century 16 movie theater. And that's the end of today's story, my friends. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all hit that like button. I hope y'all comment. I hope y'all subscribe. I hope y'all do all that good thing right there. And come on back for True Crime Video number 4. But until I see y'all again, my friends, I got a couple of more words to say. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.